Putin claims that Russia will defend the world against imminent nuclear war planned by the globalist elites. Russian President Vladimir Putin vowed to protect the world against an imminent nuclear war that he says is being pursued by the globalist elites. Of course, I don't trust anything he says, but anyway, last Wednesday, Putin gave a wide-ranging public war update during a televised session of his Human Rights Council. InfoWars reports, among the more important topics he addressed related to the now 10-month-long special military operation in Ukraine was future plans for broader mobilization and the prospect of deployment of nuclear assets. On the latter point, Putin lashed out at the United States and NATO, saying Russia does not have tactical nuclear weapons in other countries, unlike the US. This was in reference to the fact that some NATO members in Europe, including extending as far east as Turkey, do act as host countries to many of the US tactical nukes under the NATO defense umbrella. Our nuclear forces are in a more advanced state than any other country in the world, Putin boasted at one point. Importantly, given the ratcheted US-NATO arms pipeline to Ukraine forces, which has lately involved transfer of increasingly sophisticated and longer-range missiles, Putin warned that the risk of nuclear war in the world is rising. He further took the opportunity to restate Russia's defensive nuclear doctrine, stressing that nuclear weapons would be considered as a response to an attack on Russian territory, while also stating that he stands ready to defend Russian territory, quote, using all available means, unquote. According to a translation of Putin's remarks in Sky News, he said, "We did not speak about usage of nuclear weapons." Then he said, "Russia has not gone mad. We have the most advanced weapons, but we do not want to wave it around," he said. But in taking a swipe at Washington's nuclear deployment in Europe, he seemed to suggest that it's precisely the US side doing the nuclear saber rattling. He said, "Yes, we will do this by various ways and means. First of all, of course, we will focus on peaceful means, but if nothing else remains, we will defend ourselves with all the means at our disposal," Putin said. Western mainstream media will more than likely run with the comments that as a fresh threat, that Russia stands ready to conduct a nuclear attack if cornered in Ukraine. And yet, just like the previous time he made similar statements, the Russian leader was in fact articulating the defensive nature of the country's official nuclear policy against existential threats to Russian territory. Among the more important news commentary from Putin, however, was the following. In rare comments on the status of war, Mr. Putin admitted it would likely be a long process, suggesting Russia has no plans to abandon the conflict anytime soon. Last month, into this month, has already seen some ambiguous signals from Washington that the Biden administration could be ready to at least contemplate pushing Kiev, Ukraine that is, to the negotiating table. Moscow, too, has said it remains open to talks. However, Putin's projection of a long conflict strongly suggests the warring sides are nowhere close to establishing a process of ceasefire dialogue. Elsewhere in the Human Rights Council meeting with top officials, Putin sought to quash persistent rumors of a second military mobilization across society next year. He expressed there was no need after the prior 300,000 reservists which were called up for Ukraine operations. He emphasized determination to see the operation through to achieve previously stated goals. Putin said Russia could be the only guarantor of Ukraine's territorial integrity, but it's up to the new leaders of Ukraine. This is by Sean Annalton to Buy a News Punch. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.